It's called a promo,
Shut
kid,
your
and
mouth,
if you want to
John.
be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it, so go ahead.
You ready? No! I said, are you ready?
That was good. I'm glad you finally decided to pull that giant stick out of your butt and have some fun for once in your life.
You're uneducated marks! You sit there on your phones tweeting out your opinions like they're worth a damn. Let me explain something to you people. You don't know shit!
And I'd like to think that maybe this company
You can't hear it. I'm doing a drum roll. There's a big drum roll happening. Welcome to the 2025 Summerslamboree.
Slamming.
Yeah, I guess it's our first ever Summerslamboree because last year it was called a title that I can't really remember all the names to, but was a very extra title. Had something to do with the Alabama Slam.
There we go.
Well,
simplicity is sometimes the best.
not our first SummerSlam, but our first SummerSlamboree. I'm sure we'll start calling it SummerSlamboree every year. How this is going to work and what we do is we're going to talk about SummerSlam. We're going to discuss SummerSlam, but while we do that, here and there throughout this episode, we're going to bring up a couple highlights from past SummerSlams that we want to just bring up that we enjoyed, kind of keep the mood upbeat.
Yeah.
Drink it in, man.
And now, your feature presentation. I always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Here was my first impression on SummerSlam before we were even done with SummerSlam. This was my opening impression. It's my job to cover wrestling, and the fact they ran a 3-hour pre-show with no wrestling and then proceeded to take the first 20 minutes of the pay-per-view to actually get to starting the first match is ridiculous. You literally, from that point forward, have to convince me that this company doesn't hate actual wrestling. Good luck doing that. These are always the fun notes that I write before I'm done watching the entire pay-per-view, and I love to go back, and I'm like, man, my head was somewhere.
I mean, definitely that is a thought. We were busy out at the West Texas Card and Collectible Show or whatever it's called. So I didn't actually end up watching that because I wasn't gonna go back and watch it. I'm sorry. I watched the rest of it live.
That's fair.
I missed the first match and the first match only. Not too bad.
Yeah, of course I didn't watch it back the night after we got back from working our convention. I spent all of Sunday watching it. I was like, I'll watch Saturday, Sunday afternoon, and just enjoy it like an entire all-day pay-per-view. And maybe that's a better choice. I feel like that makes it a lot more fun.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, hot take before we move on. I do think this is a quick hot take that I would enjoy to put out into the world. Let's just not do 2-day pay-per-views. Let's do all-day pay-per-views. Like if we really want to be extra and have, 8 hours of wrestling rather than 4, let's just put all 8 hours into one day. And yeah, that's my plan.
I mean, honestly, if we do that, then we need to record the next day because when I watch a pay-per-view, when I watch an AEW pay-per-view, the normal amount of hours that a WWE pay-per-view would be already gets me tired. And then you tack on 2 extra hours because I'm dead tired by then. You do a WWE pay-per-view and you do like 6 to 8 hours, I'm done. I'm
cooked.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. At this rate, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing WWE, but that's a whole other topic to itself.
It's like Dylan has the vibe of I'm just hanging on. I'm just hanging on. I'm hanging by a moment, and I'll stop there. You brought up something that made me remember something. I don't, stick on it for forever, but memory moment from back in the show. Me and Jeff literally went to a Revolver show live and then had to watch the entire Wrestle Dream pay-per-view back throughout the entire morning. We recorded the Wrestle Dream episode at like 5:30 in the morning because we had spent all night watching it.
I mean, we can do that. I just can't guarantee a good episode. I can't guarantee a good performance from myself.
I would love the scenario of doing an episode with you sleeping halfway through it. That's entertainment. Halfway through, just clocked out. Uh, all right, let's get into our first match of the SummerSlam shenanigans. That has a good flow to it too. SummerSlam shenanigans.
Summerslam Flamanigan. Well, we'll workshop it.
We got Jey Uso and Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker and the other guy. I had a, I had a brain fart for a moment. Here's
Big Bronson Reed.
here's where my brain fart comes from too. It doesn't come necessarily from forgetting him. It's because I'm stupid and I always make up like false names for people. And when I do that, I start to just get things mixed up in my head. So I'm calling him Jonah in my head, but I'm like, don't call him Jonah. It's the whole thing.
That's fair.
Took us exactly 22 minutes to actually get to starting the first match, but once we do, it lasts for 15 seconds before breaking back into doing Jey Uso's entrance again. And I know that's the thing. I know that's the thing, but again, just really aggravating thing when you've waited as long as we did for the actual wrestling part.
It's definitely an interesting disconnect between what the people in the arena are getting to experience and
Yes.
what we at home are. Like, those people in that arena are just hyped for it. That's the reason they do it.
Yeah, you're right.
We just want to wrestle, man. We want to wrestle.
Dude, yeah. All right. You schooled me because I've been in that arena when that entrance is going off. It's a whole vibe. You're right.
Thank you.
Mhm. Not a bad match when we start having it for real. Kind of drawn out, but the latter half of it, the later half of this match has a lot of solid spots to it. And you said you didn't watch this match, correct?
No, but I did see the Roman Reigns flying over the rope spot.
Yeah. Yeah, people talking about that spot. I had it in my notes. How did you feel about the match? But that's about as much feeling as you got. And I bet you felt that just as much as Roman Reigns did.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I forgot that he had to go film Street Fighter after this,
Yeah.
so he's literally just gone again.
That's the job. It's the job.
Acknowledge me.
All right. The finish here surprised me, not because Roman takes the bullet for Jey Uso. Well, that was a cool moment, but Jey Uso wins so quickly after that happens, and I'm weirdly used to Jey Uso having to do all of his finishers multiple times before winning a big match. So I was like, oh wait, he just needed the one this time. All right.
You know, maybe this is like a side rant. I'm not going to stay on it forever, but I really wish he would just get one signature or finisher that's his own move that we've
Fair.
not seen before. Like, just try a little bit. A little
Fair.
bit.
Fickle. They're fickle.
Fair enough. Summerslamboree moment highlight number one. We'll just call them highlights. Summerslamboree highlight number one. Best SummerSlam main event of all time. British Bulldog beats his brother-in-law Bret Hart in Wembley Stadium for the Intercontinental Championship, with Bret's sister and Bulldog's fiance Diana watching emotionally split in the crowd. They all celebrate together as an accepting family in the end. You love it. 1992 SummerSlam.
I remember, so there's a lot of older ones. I also like the ones that I've watched like live or at least fully are very few in between in the earlier years. And then around like 90, I want to say like WCW 95 on, just because my brother's a big WCW nut. And then, of course, early 2000s when we were watching is when I really know my stuff.
Mhm.
But I do remember watching that in some, I think, compilation or something. It's a really beautiful moment.
Drink it in, man.
One of my favorites. That's why I picked it. Now, our women's tag team title match. Honestly, I'm not a fan of back-to-back opening tag team matches, but the first one was solid enough to at least give this one room to do its thing. I didn't watch a lot of the product leading into SummerSlam, of course, with our own schedule being so packed. It was really hard, but remind me again how we got Alexa Bliss and Charlotte together as a tag team.
Okay, so this has been a really slow build, actually. When Alexa came back, they originally didn't have much for her, and then eventually it got to this point where her and Charlotte started interacting in different points, like backstage and stuff, and Alexa kept going up to her and being like, "Hey, can I have a moment? Like, listen, I don't like you, you don't like me, but it could really help and benefit each of us to have someone watching our back." And so that kind of where that built and built and built, and then there were spots where they ended up having to help each other with, of course, you have different people like Nia Jax running around, and kind of takes two people to take Nia Jax down, and then Chelsea's little faction. So they really found out that, hey, maybe helping each other would work. And then there was an opening in this tag team, like I think tag team contender 4-way. And Alexa Bliss was like, hey, let's do this thing. We don't have to like each other, but hey, it's a title. Let's go after some titles. From what I understand, the plans were originally to break up the team at SummerSlam, Alexa versus Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
But the team got so over because everyone was liking how Charlotte was being a little less of the same Charlotte we've seen, and starting to open up a bit more.
Oh.
That people liked it so much that they decided to keep it going, and that's where we are now.
Yeah, that's how we get into this whole match. It was good to know because it was a good tag match. I was worried about what we were gonna do within it without knowing a lot of the build-up. It's kind of hard to make a prediction on it. So I was like, well, they got some big egos, so we'll see. What I loved here, I love the prospect matchup spots between Roxanne Perez and Alexa Bliss. That caught my attention the most here because given the similarities they have in size, offensive arsenals, and character, you could see glimpses of the two women like having really good one-on-one matches down the line.
Yeah, they have some pretty good chemistry, and I just want to point out, like, it's crazy that a couple months or like a year or so ago, we were complaining about Raquel, and now she's just kind of. I wouldn't say she's like anyone's favorite, at least not ours. I don't think, but
Not mine.
I don't feel like she detracts from anything anymore, which is kind of bad to say, but
She made her entrance here in this exact match. I remember saying to myself, or at least having the inner thought, she stays, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, she stays a really great support wrestler. One of those wrestlers that just supports other wrestlers. Because again, that's kind of been her thing, and all the people she's been paired with have been people that got massively over. I'm not saying Raquel is the reason they got over, but she's a great support wrestler.
Thank you.
All right, now Alexa Bliss punching Charlotte in the face was definitely not on my bingo card, but I did somewhat enjoy it.
Yeah, you figured it had to be like one miscommunication somewhere.
Popped her. So,
that was going to be.
Despite that, though, Alexa and Charlotte stay on the same page. They have solid finish to the match, and they come out the new tag team champions.
That spot where it looks like Charlotte's going to kick Alexa's head off.
Yeah, but she helps out instead.
That was pretty good. Like, I like this team. Like, the reason I gave everyone else liked it is like Charlotte's starting to get this more down to earth kind of thing about her.
Yeah.
She's not all high and mighty anymore. And it's really fun to see their chemistry as like, we're not friends, but kind of.
It was more enjoyable than I anticipated myself, so that's saying a lot because you know me.
Yeah.
These people, they don't know me so much, and if they did, they would know that I, up to this point, hadn't really had any nice things to say about Mr. Karrion Kross, but here in these last few, I'd say like at least the last month and a half, that's been changing, at least since WrestleMania season came about, and we were excited for this next match, Karrion Kross, Sami Zayn, for a couple reasons. Number one, most often being that these two guys are underrated world champion level wrestlers that we think can deliver and deserve a push. The other, though, being that a lot of us think Kross is tired of that first one being the case scenario, and this could potentially be him heading out the door once his contract is up soon.
Yeah. This was going in, I was pretty adamant that, like, Kross has to deliver here, and the only way that I can for sure guarantee he's staying is if they give him the win.
we'll get into that, I guess.
I was just like, I wanted you to build off of it. Yeah.
I know. I felt like because WWE knows he does have potential and he does maybe want to jump ship. That's why they gave him a SummerSlam singles match here. That's why this
Yeah.
was a whole thing. Like, all right, well, let's throw you a little bone and stay just a little longer type deal. We see the potential. We just don't have the
Well,
spot yet.
as we mentioned before with Jay Uso, we at home get tired of seeing this guy yeet for 20 minutes on end, but the crowd in the arena love it.
Yeah.
The same thing with Cross. I noticed like there's a big movement on the internet with Cross as well, though. But there's also a lot of people, a lot of detractors, which rightfully justified. I can admit Cross is slow in the ring. That is his build. That is the way he wrestles. That is his character. And that in this day and age is not like if you're not a super technical wrestler, that's not something people really like to see.
Mm.
But in the arena, there are constantly we want cross chants. Like so it's kind of like fighting two battles here. And who wins? Well, continue
Whether
telling
or not that's the case, or this is just coincidental, they aren't throwing a bone. Neither matter in the way of what we have here. The match itself, which isn't too bad, regardless of how and why it's happening. Sammy says no way to caving into his dark temptation when he refuses the lead pipe. He then proceeds to definitively win this match. So that goes to answer who went over in the match.
it's interesting, right? Um, I think Carrion is a great promo. I think he's a great creative mind. I think
Absolutely.
I personally felt, and maybe that's just me being optimistic, that he was trying to speed up the pace of this match. At the very start of the match, you see him like kind of trip a little bit. And I think that's because he wanted to go like step on the gas from the get go. And then he figured out, wait a minute, maybe that's not the greatest. And I felt like throughout the match, he was trying to go at least a little bit faster than he normally does. And that's what led me, honestly. It was an okay match. I think it was one of his better matches recently, for sure. Um, there's a lot of debate over whether he should have won. Sammy, if the story we are building is Sammy becomes a world champion, then that is obviously that should have been the right decision. Sammy winning.
You can hope so, right? We could only hope.
But if he does not get a world championship and you let Cross walk, because even if Cross isn't the best wrestler, there's got to be something backstage, a writer, a trainer, something that he can do for your roster.
Man.
So,
If he does jump ship, man, he's going to do somebody else a great service. To what you were just saying, if you let both those things happen, well, I don't put anything past them at this point, but that's a whole other thing.
yeah.
Whole other thing. All right. Our Summerslamboree highlight number 2. First ever TLC match taking place at SummerSlam 2000. Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, the Hardys, the iconic memories that this match ensued with us all.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Revolution.
Yeah, that's crazy enough. As great as it was, the 3 teams found a way to have even more of these matches and keep raising the bar on how good they could be, leading to many more people having great TLC matches, and WWE even making TLC a whole ass pay-per-view for a long time.
Yep. And then towards the end, that's a whole other story.
Okay, our next match we're gonna look at WWE Women's Title, and regardless of how you feel about Jade Cargill or her inability to actually give a shit about the business she works in, you can't deny she was a heavy favorite to win the Women's Title after winning Queen of the Ring specifically.
Yeah.
It would be a test, I think, to see how well Jade is picking up on this, and is WWE ready to just throw her into the fire before she's ready? And it's like a dual, kind of like a double-edged sword type of question. Your answer, though, no, they aren't. And maybe some people think she's ready. Maybe some people think she should have beat Tiffany Stratton, but regardless, Tiffany Stratton is undefeated in this year, and she's going over in this match still.
See, you know what the craziest thing to me is?
Yes, I do.
I think this was a really good match.
Yeah,
I
fairly.
genuinely and I saw a lot of people kind of break it down and be like, well, it was a good match, but could they have made, because it was 7 minutes from what I heard. 7 minutes.
Was it
That's
really?
insane for a women's championship match.
Huh.
You didn't know?
And the reason I see some people be like, no, that makes sense, is because a lot of people don't think Jade can deliver. The longer it goes, the less likely it is Jade can deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what I've heard people say. And I think about it, and I'm like, I haven't seen enough evidence to really decide that yet. But I genuinely think they had a really good sprint here. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I wanted more of it. I'm not going to lie.
I'm trying to remember what pay-per-view it was because I know it wasn't when she won Queen of the Ring. I wasn't really watching or anything, but there was one pay-per-view back a few months ago where we were talking about her, and I was like, yeah, no, I honestly would say this was a good match here, and she looks a lot better. And now that I think about it, the match might have been like 7 to 8 minutes around that time. So I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing here. And honestly, if that's the case, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. Like, if somebody gets gassed out at 12 minutes, don't make them go wrestle a 15-minute match. That's a terrible thing to do to somebody.
The problem with it is that when you have a champion who has been as dominant as Tiffany Stratton,
Stiffy time, bitch.
you expect every defense consecutively to be
Mhm.
more and more over the top, more, pushing the boundary.
Yeah, I get that.
So you throw this one in there and you're like,
It's Tiffy time!
I just blinked. What just happened?
Yeah, maybe like 3, 5 years from now, you might not remember what Tiffany Stratton did at SummerSlam 2025. You know, anyway, what?
Oh, you didn't know?
Imagine if, I guess, now that we just pointed all that out, imagine if they had put the title on Jade Cargill, made this moment, and now we have a champion that can only wrestle 7-minute matches. That's not what we want.
I mean, I would have been. I wasn't really saying that Tiffany needed to lose it, although there's also the question now who takes the title off of her. But that's, I guess, a question we'll answer in the future.
Yeah, I think long-term booking, if I could long-term book the way I do, we're just going to give Rhea Ripley another Royal Rumble win and have her switch sides.
I was honestly thinking, like, even before that, because we do still have that Perth event, that Perth pay-per-view.
Earth it up.
Somehow Rhea goes over to SmackDown and takes the title from Tiffany. That's my prediction, I guess.
How does she get to SmackDown? I mean, she just does what she wants, and who tells her no?
Honestly, yeah.
World title match time. CM Punk, Gunther. And honestly, this is like a really fire matchup.
Banger after banger.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's a fire match.
One thing before any other thing, though, and it's ironic because if you noticed, I hadn't really bitched about any of the obvious abundance of advertisements the way I normally do because we know they're there. We already know they're there.
Yeah.
But the irony here and why I have to bring up the sponsor for this match, did anybody else find it ridiculous that the match sponsor for Gunther's match for the Ring General was the General Insurance? It had to be on purpose.
I think that was like, again, overabundance of these advertisements, very annoying, but I think that was honestly genius.
Yeah, because the whole time he's wrestling this match all around the arena, you just see the General.
Like, he wants him to win.
Give me a hell yeah.
Big fight feel for the match. Always my type of vibe when it comes to SummerSlam. I want the big SummerSlam matches. And this match holds up, I would say. I'd 100% stamp it. What I like about it is it's just what I expected in the way of Punk really leaning on and utilizing the more technical catch style aspects of his game, which we see often because he can't really do all the high flying flippy dippy stuff. He's never really done flippy dippy stuff, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I had a feeling Wrestling Gunther would kind of bring more of that style out of him, more than we usually see anyway. And I can honestly say, which I'm sure knowing me and what I like, this statement is no surprise. I loved this match. I really loved it.
It was everything that I think I wanted and maybe a little bit more. Like, I didn't expect Gunther to get busted open and just gush blood everywhere.
Yeah. Now, one thing I didn't love, and that I'm pointing out, bruh, bruh, brother, I watched CM Punk tap out in that sharpshooter. I have video evidence. He tapped out in the sharpshooter.
Dang, I didn't catch that.
There he is, tapping out. This is a 3-second clip. Now, I'm obviously joking. He's not actually tapping out, but his hand looks like it's rapidly tapping out. Regardless, these guys delivered a great back and forth main event match. One of those, actually, and I'm surprised to say this for CM Punk after a year and a half ago saying that he gets winded easy now. The longer it goes, the more exciting it gets. And I did not expect this match to fall in that column.
That's why I think it was so good. I
Yeah.
wasn't, and it's been a while too since Gunther's had a really like a. Because remember, the past few opponents he's had are Goldberg,
Ew.
Pat McAfee,
Ew.
Che Uso, a lot of really quick or not very long matches.
For sure.
So to have
And CM
Gunther,
Punk's the one. Okay.
yeah,
Now, here's another thing I'm thinking with that, because I'm thinking back to, when he was just coming back into WWE and wrestling these matches. Like, damn, Punk out here looking a little gassed. I think one thing it could be is now that he's in this company, and needless to say, he's a lot happier there. He's in a performance center with a lot of really nice facilities. Maybe he's just getting in a better condition, getting in better shape to wrestle these bigger matches.
maybe.
This dude's got a gas tank bigger than what I remember a year or two ago. Ending, Punk hits the GTS. Gunther spews spit everywhere but stays standing. CM Punk hits a second, pins Gunther, wins the world title. And I had a feeling after that banger we would be hearing Seth Rollins' music hit after, which Punk clutches the world title in tears, stands to celebrate. And then we do, in fact, hear Rollins' music coming out on his crutches and his knee brace.
It was definitely a moment that I was like, this would be about the right time that Seth Rollins would come out here,
Mm-hmm.
and he did.
Reminds CM Punk he's the Money in the Bank holder. He then turns to leave, stops after a few crutches, and then he sheds the crutches and knee brace, runs to the ring and cashes in Money in the Bank, wins back the World Heavyweight Championship. And forgive me for being too forward, but I really want to pin this moment as a highlight for next year's Summerslamboree when we do our Summerslamboree highlights in 2026. I'm definitely going to end on this one. That was a
Interesting.
moment. That was a moment.
I was curious because I saw a couple people talk about it and be like, we all expected this, and then I think about it. I'm like, yeah, if you were paying attention to all the reports and all the talk online about it, then yeah, you would have expected this. But if you were watching wrestling and just in those arenas, or even my mother, who is very, she's not chronically online like us, so she was pretty worked too, and over the fact that, oh hey, maybe he's got like a legitimate injury. So honestly, it was surprising to some people, and I think that's the important part to remember that like not everyone has the same insight.
Mhm. I certainly felt 50-50 split on it because on one hand, again, I have mixed emotions about CM Punk as it is, but I love him as a wrestler, and I really liked that moment. I really liked him with that title. I liked the prospect of what that could bring. Also, Seth Rollins now 2 times has had the coolest Money in the Bank cash-ins, and it's like, damn, that man can literally say like, I had 2 of the most memorable cash-ins of all time, and it's just it, man. The shocking moment of seeing those crutches just be thrown to the side. You're like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
the actual cinematic of it,
yeah.
the body language, the everything lining up with the music and the Tron and like everything. Honestly, very well done. Like even though I did expect it, and honestly, there was a point where even I was like, "Nah, he's legitimately hurt. He's not coming."
Nah, nah.
It was really good. It was one of those that I'll definitely remember forever, man.
Okay. Summerslamboree highlight number 3. I love the way that rhymes. Summerslamboree highlight number 3. In 2002, Shawn Michaels, after being forced to retire 5 years prior, makes his in-ring return to face Triple H in one of the greatest SummerSlam matches of all time. Michaels wanted to come back for one last match, and he didn't think he could still go. Triple H showed him he still could go, and thank God HBK would then, after that match, decide to stay for several more years and have many more great matches. And then he retired for real at WrestleMania 26.
Yeah, that was a hell of a moment, and I'm so glad he came back because, man, the Undertaker matches at WrestleMania, the Chamber, like all that, the triple threat at
Him versus Cena.
yeah, like honestly,
Him
so
versus Cena on Raw for 1 hour. That one.
good.
Man, all right. Now, Punk versus Gunther main evented night 1 of SummerSlam. So at this point, we transition over into the secondary half Sunday portion of SummerSlam. I want to start Sunday out with another SummerSlamboree highlight. This is our 4th one, highlight number 4. The second ever Elimination Chamber took place at SummerSlam 2003, and I downloaded the entire pay-per-view off of LimeWire.
Yes, he makes me watch it often. I mean, it makes me
Just the chamber, yeah. Just the chamber.
Makes me is a very strong term. I mean, I should say like he puts it on a lot when I'm over at this guy's house.
If nothing at all is going on, I'll just put on that Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
Give me a hell yeah.
Okay. Women's World Title, triple threat. We get all the women out, and Naomi gets a live entrance of sorts when her dad shreds on the guitar, playing her to the ring. And I want to bring up on this same note that I knew it was her dad before they said anything, and I thought I was about to be the cool guy that brought it up on Twitter before anyone else. Like, oh yeah, I remember him from Total Divas, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't be a smart mark today. Before I could get on Twitter, they were saying it on commentary.
Yeah. I had seen. See, that's the thing too. When sorry, can't talk. When you're chronically online, like I am, unfortunately, I saw ahead of time that someone had said like, Naomi's dad is going to perform her to the ring, and I'm like, I wish I would have not. I wish I would not view social media before pay-per-views anymore. It sucks. I hate it.
That certainly, yeah, that can take away from the fun. I had a feeling that this match was going to be the opener, and it was. I also had a feeling that this match was going to be great, and it was. So I'll state my theory again. There's no such thing as a bad triple threat, but even with that said, this match delivered above that line.
I see. That's interesting because night one, I didn't put any expectations or any bars for anything to clear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I didn't because night one, in my opinion, was weaker. And we kind of all knew that because we knew the layout of all the matches. And unfortunately, a lot of those matches didn't look really great on paper.
For sure.
But night two, I was like, oh, we have all these stipulation matches. We have all these great people going. I held this to the standard of Io, Rhea, and Bianca. And that's a really hard standard to hit.
Yeah.
It started out really slow, and I was not feeling it, honestly. It became really good later on, but I would put it below that just because of the slow start.
Yeah, I think you mid pay-per-view you texted me something similar of this, like not Rhea and Io's best match, but so good. And that's how I would put it too. I didn't have it up to that bar or set to any bar, so I saw it for what it was. I think it did start off slow, but once we got into midway to the later portion, there's a lot of innovative three-way offense, great spots, fluid energy, one of the good things that you love about triple threats.
Hell yeah.
Rhea, oh, what you got?
I just think it's always a good time when I get to see Io do the
Rhea hits a super riptide on Io Sky, pins Io, but Naomi breaks it and rolls Rhea up to pleasantly surprise us all and retain the women's world title. I'm pleasantly surprised myself anyway.
Did you also have it pinned for Rhea to take the title here?
Yeah, either way, I just saw Naomi losing it based off of behind the scenes backstage stuff. Like, I know she's not planning on doing this for long, and it's for great reason. So I'm like, anytime she wants to drop the title, like, there's not going to be any sort of criticism, like, oh, they could have done this better. Like,
Yeah.
she's wrestling some of her best matches, and she's, in some sense, if I'm not mistaken, going out on her terms in what way she wants to. So I'm like, hey, retain that title. When do you drop it? When are you leaving?
Oh, that's kind of a backhanded way to say that.
I
Like,
know. It sounds awful. It's like when you leaving, but no, like I want to support her outside of wrestling. I want her to
yeah.
be as happy in life as she wants to be. And if that means like, going having child, do that, girl.
Honestly, I agree. Again, very a solid match. I'm interested to see because the reason I had Rhea pin to win is because we have not this month, I think, but next month maybe, or I'm not quite sure. The Crown Jewel Perth event coming,
Yeah.
and Rhea Ripley and not having a title going into that pay per view, or not being in a title match going into that pay per view,
Feels
sounds
weird.
like leaving money on the table.
Hmm. What if she just has like a whole other thing, like bigger than titles? Like, well, that's what sucks about the Crown Jewel Championship concept is that like it's between the two champions.
I
So
forgot about that.
like you just said, I feel like in some capacity she needs to win the women's side of that and she has to have a title to do that. So does she potentially beat Naomi for this title somewhere in between? Because I mean, Io Sky won the title on Raw. Who's to say Rhea Ripley can't do the exact same thing?
I mean, it's like I said about the Tiffany thing too, though. I mean, like Tiffany is getting to a point where it's hard to say who can take that title from her, but Rhea Ripley is a name that I could absolutely see take that title from
Yeah,
her. So it's
yeah.
like, I don't know.
Sounds like there's a lot of options in which way this could go in getting to Perth, and I'm weirdly like excited for Crown Jewel now. But again, there's other things going on that we're like, well, how excited can we be? I'll tell you how excited I am and how excited I can be. This is Summerslamboree highlight number 5. Did you just go ghost on me?
Yes.
SummerSlamboree highlight number 5. In 2005 at SummerSlam, Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio had a great ladder match in which no title was on the line, only for instead the custody of a young Dominic Mysterio. We all know about this match now so much, but I remember back on the ladder match DVD when I would watch it, not many people knew of its existence and didn't really pay attention.
That's crazy too, because now that Dominic is so prominent, let's say that 5 times fast.
I know.
This is brought up a lot, but I completely forgot that it was at SummerSlam and that like this plays in a little bit later.
Yeah. But what I wish had come sooner on the card, at least when we were doing these moments, was the TLC one. Because again, this was the 25th anniversary since that first TLC match. So now we're going to get into the biggest TLC match I've ever seen, a 6 tag team TLC match. That's pretty damn big.
I wonder how they pitched this backstage. I like to think that it was the Machine Guns idea. I don't know why, but I just feel like it's something the Machine Guns were like, hey, what if we take these guys and you get a point.
Give me a hell yeah!
We get the Dudleys and Hardys introduced before this huge TLC match, and WWE even promotes their upcoming last time ever match at Bound for Glory.
I
Gave
didn't
them a
catch
little rub.
that. I saw them both, but I didn't see them promote that match.
Yeah, before the TLC started, they let Michael Cole, everybody know that these 2 tag teams were going to have a last time ever match at Bound for Glory.
Interesting.
It's like, man, okay, rub them up.
I mean, it's so funny because Bully Ray even said like WWE won't let us do this. Like,
Shut up.
okay.
Shut up, Bubs.
But this bitch is getting on my nerves.
We get all of our teams out and we ring the bell, and the Wyatt Six get jumped by the rest of the teams as soon as the bell rings.
I would do that too. I mean,
From there, yeah, nothing but nonstop TLC craziness. All the many chair and table spots got to pop out of me. The sequence of table spots probably gave me the most pop.
Dude, that was such a cool sequence. My God, Axiom with the Spanish fly to Dawkins.
Dude, yeah. That first of all, we're gonna call that the four corners of tables, the four corner table spot. But yeah, the Spanish fly probably got the biggest pop out of me. I was like, "What in the blue boogaloo?"
Honestly,
Yeah.
I was scared for Dexter because I know his signature, like off the top rope move, is the leg drop.
It looked like he was jumping off the diving board when he came off that
Yeah,
top rope.
I was like, did he land all right? Ooh.
He said, "Ah." I mean but he's in character so well in that moment. Is
Yes,
like whether it's intentional or not, it played into the character perfectly. So
yes.
we get Candice LeRae and B-Fab out in this match, which summons Nikki
Um,
Cross in, but none of that has to do with the fact that Candice LeRae climbed the ladder to try and help DIY, and she got sent out of the ring and through a ladder. Six
Poor
spot.
Candice. I have to start a small. I have to settle a small debate here.
Okay.
Did she land on her leg? I know she put her arm out, and I'm pretty
Mm,
sure she hurt her arm. But I also think she went leg first.
I don't know that she did, but I'd have to go watch it back then.
Dang it.
Sorry, I can't help with the debate, but I can at least point out what I was noticing, and I'm sure a lot of other people are noticing. A lot of whoever produced this match, genius. A lot of what was going on in this big TLC match had callbacks to former big, three-way TLC matches. You saw the spots from
Yeah.
like TLC 2 where the women come out, get put through a table, but this time it's a ladder. And then Tommaso Ciampa hanging from the ceiling and Nathan Frazier trying to jump, but that missed. And that is a spot I actually want to talk about. Like, dude, how about Tommaso Ciampa hanging upside down 20 feet above the
Oh,
ring?
God, dude.
What the actual, dude? What
I
the
was
actual?
pumped. I was like, the whole time, I was like, how long is he going to stay there? How long is he going to stay there? How is he still there?
There's few moments like that I can remember where like I'm hanging on by the edge of my seat, wondering for someone's safety. That moment, I remember it with Kalisto in the Elimination Chamber, and I remember it with Darby Allin hanging there like a
Oh, my.
pinata. That was the most uncomfortable out of all three of those.
I also remember that time, like, people like to make fun of it because it's that time in that match with, I think it's Rhea and Liv, and they put Dom in the shark cage.
Yes.
Dom's literally hanging from the like a cord or a cable in the shark cage or whatever cage for a few minutes, and like Rhea actually goes over there and plays pinata with him.
Oh, I got the chills. A lot of craziness in this match, though. And in the end, we see the Wyatt Six retain the titles, which is what I thought had happened myself. I thought that kind of made sense. Even given how stacked this tag division is, despite that, I think the Wyatt Six was just a good spot to keep the belts on.
I mean, the thing about it is the way that you build, the way that you need to keep the YS6. The only way that I see them taking those titles from them is in one of these multi-man matches. But it is a little too soon to take it from them. Also,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I said every time Axiom or Frazier were up on the ladder, I was like, just pull the titles down, go into business for yourself,
Mm.
take the L, get fired. AEW will take you with open arms.
Look, unfortunately, Phoenix doesn't have that luxury. He had the opportunity when he could have just jumped up and grabbed him. He literally just hopped up on Andrade's shoulders and said, "Whoop." He could
You
have
know,
he could have went in business for himself right then.
I said in the text that I didn't put this above the four-way on SmackDown from a month ago or so. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, I might put it like equal or even maybe above. It was
See,
pretty insane.
yeah, this was a great match, a great TLC. Even then, I wouldn't put it above the SmackDown after WrestleMania TLC, which is what I thought you were talking about. Because like a month or so ago, I don't know, but 4 months
That is weird.
ago,
4 months ago. Oh, there's been time is so crazy, but yeah,
yeah,
from 4 months ago.
Yeah, I still would say that one was better. They over delivered on that SmackDown. But hey, it is what it is. Both were amazing.
Yeah,
This one was a great one. Let's get to our Summerslamboree highlight number 6. In 2016, after we started off a new era, accompanied with a brand split, we found Seth Rollins and Finn Balor advancing in a short tournament to be the two men to wrestle to determine the first ever Universal Champion at SummerSlam. And after a grueling and intense match, we see Finn Balor become the first ever Universal Champion, which, as we know, only lasted 24 hours before he had to vacate it due to the injury he sustained in that said match.
it was a really good match.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I actually hadn't seen it before we started doing like research for this.
Oh my goodness
I watched
gracious.
the match and it was so good. I feel really bad for that initial impression that I had of Finn Balor, which we'll get
hmm
to here in a bit. But really
Can I tell
solid.
you? Can I tell you what it was like from somebody who was like really die hard into WWE at the time?
What was
It
it like?
it was like this. Finn Balor was killing it in NXT, and he had won the NXT title at the Japan show, at the Beast in the East show. Was
I,
massively over. Once he dropped it and he came to Raw, he got drafted to Raw. We were like, "This is it. Finn Balor's time is now." And we get into this like little mini tournament on Raw where we're gonna get the two competitors at SummerSlam for the first Universal title. Finn Balor goes over on Roman Reigns. So we're like, this is it. This is actually happening. We get to SummerSlam. We're like, Seth Rollins is still going to win it, the right? No. Finn Balor wins it. It was like this moment, like we actually felt like we were in a new era. And then Finn Balor gets hurt. And I remember at that point, and this is kind of just dragging on now, but at that point I said, next guy up is Kevin Owens. And that's who they put the belt on. And it was actually a great run.
I wonder if like though if Finn wouldn't have gotten hurt, and this is a stretch maybe, would they have had a better um impression of like the Japanese stars coming in? Like, would we have then gotten Shinsuke actually winning the belt? Would we have actually had them signing Will Ospreay? Like, just a crazy domino effect
I
because
think with
Finn.
Vince McMahon in charge now.
I don't know, man. Like, because then they could have changed. Like, I don't know, man. I know Vince is really hard nosed in what he does, but I mean, if Finn could have really killed it like you said he was, and like kept that
Yeah.
momentum through a title reign, who knows? Money changes everything.
Here's one thing that people don't talk about, even myself included, because I never thought about it until recently. But another reason why Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, they actually got bigger pushes than Shinsuke. Wild to me to hear that said out of my mouth, but it happened. I look at the merch, and again, Vince McMahon's in charge. He cares about who's moving merch, and that's a big ideal to push. Finn Balor and Kevin Owens merch was selling like hotcakes because it was just good merch, like American faces, I guess, in some sense. Like Shinsuke, I talk about all the time. I went to house shows. Shinsuke never got reactions. People didn't care. They had to team him up with Randy Orton for people to care at that time. And so I guess now that I look back at it, I'm like, if Shinsuke moved more merch, they would have put that title on him.
Yeah. I also remember reading, doing the research. This is dragging on, I'm sorry, but just the
You
fact
good?
that he hurt someone. I can't remember. I always get it mixed up between Randy Orton and John Cena, but he hurt someone, dropped them on their head, and that was like it for Shinsuke.
You saw me pull this out, so you know what's happening. We're getting to an Intercontinental title match.
Yes, sir.
The women's and the build-up package for this match got me absolutely hyped. All
Dude,
capital hype bros level hyped.
as far as like the women go in WWE, the Raw division has been killing it between Rhea and Io just having multiple amazing matches. And then Becky and Lyra, I think, shocking a lot of people and making a lot of people care about Lyra.
Yeah, I
Uh,
already did, but that's besides the point.
yeah, so I was excited for this one.
Bomb entrances. We get into the match, and it starts out first looking more like an Irish Donnybrook brawl, which got me thinking, who said we couldn't have a Donnybrook match between Lyra and Becky? Like, who's making the rules that says we can't?
I guess maybe they think that's a Vince McMahon thing, which at this point.
All right. Well, instead of shillelaghs, though, we see kendo sticks and crowbars, also steel chains. See Becky pull out the toolbox and not only beat Lyra with it, but then pull a zip tie out of it to tie Lyra's hands up and then beat her with a wrench. She beat her with a wrench, Dylan.
This was that was interesting.
Yeah, she beats her with a wrench. This is a part of the story, of course. The kendo stick spot while Lyra's hanging from the turnbuckle. It's all to tell the story how Lyra just won't give up. She starts to come back and then she gets out of the zip tie. Or does she? Was my question. I hate talking about botches, but I also was like, what in the blue hell did we see in this match? With her it's the fact that she put her hands back in. Like I get you got to commit to it, and there's spots in the match that you need to your hands to be tied for, but now it's already been done. Like we got to just change it on the fly. That's my
I mean,
opinion.
I do agree with that, but also some of those spots were really like for the match, for the moment, to make people remember. Like we would not have the spot where she tied her up on that pole and on that turnbuckle post and beat her if you wouldn't have kept her in the zip tie.
Which either way, it's like this is why I say it's sort of a double standard statement to make, and that's why I hate talking about botches to begin with, because like they just happen. But you look at it from production standpoint, like the match is better if her hands are tied. But from a fan's perspective, if I know her hands aren't tied and you're gonna keep committing to it, you're insulting me. You're saying that I'm too stupid now to understand. It's like that's where it becomes the double standard on both sides.
I also like to think that we as wrestling fans, we have developed a really big um, suspension of disbelief for a lot of things, because there's a lot of times where I call out normal things that we see every day, where they miss punches, where they miss kicks. I call those out all the time, and it makes me feel disgusted because I'm like, I'm trying to enjoy something, and not all of these moves can hit, because if they did, then we would have less people at less capacity competing or performing. So it's a whole thing.
I'm telling you, you can look at it from one side and it be good, and then the other side, and you're like, damn, it's kind of shitty. That's why I don't like talking about botches. But more specifically, where I don't talk about them, as we've learned throughout this show, is when it comes to wrestling holds, wrestling moves getting uncoordinated. Like, bro, anybody could trip and lose their footing. It
Yes.
happens. But when it comes to losing the zip tie, brother, and I'm talking about my favorite women's wrestler right now on the hot seat, I'm like, I don't blame her. She's doing her job. But as a
Yeah.
fan, I'm like, man, I got hurt today. I didn't expect for the Hurt Syndicate to make an appearance because they hurt me. Regardless, Lyra fights with them on until she finds something to cut it with under the ring, I guess. I don't know.
I think that was the whole point of that, which I honestly thought someone was going to come and untie her. But, you know.
I was kind of, I didn't. And another thing that happened during this point was the match got like a slow dip in momentum after all that. But it finds its second wind when Becky starts beating the absolute shit out of Lyra. Like, I mean, the absolute dog shit out of Lyra. And this culminates to Becky trapping Lyra in a chair slotted into the announce table and then stomping the edge of the chair, resulting in a very uncomfortable spot.
It was so uncomfortable, but I was also just appreciating the unique use of this kind of, it's not new, but it's still relatively,
Hey, I haven't seen that before.
Space, because these are new-ish tables. They were introduced this year.
I ain't seen that one before.
Yeah.
Becky goes to get the crowbar next and cave Lyra's skull in. I wasn't about to let that happen, and neither was Bailey. Comes to save the day. And she comes to help, but she also comes to harm when she accidentally hits Lyra with the steel chain and costs her the match. And Lyra can't wrestle Becky for the Intercontinental Championship anymore. So what are we thinking? Bailey and Becky title match series 9?
I think it's gonna be Bailey and Becky maybe one more time. Lyra comes and Lyra Lyra probably wants. I don't know if this is a heel turn, but it's going to be a little bit more of a Lyra getting her revenge turn, and it's going to be on Bailey because she can't face Becky anymore. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen here.
I certainly don't want Lyra to be a heel either, and I don't want anything to come out of that way. I want Bailey and Becky to have a 3 stages of hell match and then call it even and everybody move on separate ways.
Yeah, I don't want Bailey and Becky to go through another set. If they do one more match and then Lyra comes and costs Bailey and it's now we're even sort of thing. And then you know how it goes from there. Maybe Bailey turns heel, and I don't know. We'll figure that out.
And then we'll get to January, and Lyra will win the Royal Rumble. And my thing about Rhea Ripley from earlier in the show will be voided out because I think I even said way back months ago, Braun Breaker and Lyra Valkyria were winning the 2027 Royal Rumble. So hey, clock's tick. Well, that's 27 though. I'm getting ahead of myself now.
And also back then, I don't think Lyra was as hot. I think the Becky feud has really put a lot of stock into Lyra, and I'm really enjoying where her trajectory is going.
I just wish everybody would have been on the train a year ago, 2 years ago, when she was having the matches with Becky the first time.
No, they should have been on the train when she was Aoife Valkyrie in NXT UK.
For sure. For sure. But for the sake of the argument, this is her second feud with Becky, and it's on the main roster now, so that makes a difference, right? It makes a huge difference. Not everybody's watching NXT, but it was just as good the first time around if you watched it.
Yeah.
All right, Summerslamboree highlight number 7, SummerSlam 2019. We see the official in-ring debut of The Fiend when he faced Finn Balor, and he debuted on Raw briefly. He made his first appearance on Raw. This was the first time we see his entrance, see him wrestle in the ring.
It was a special moment specifically for me because this was the exact pay-per-view I came back to watching after that big 6 to 7 year hiatus. So this is the first pay-per-view I remember tuning into. I think I had tuned into a SmackDown or Raw beforehand, and I started seeing the Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse segments and everything leading up to this. And I remember seeing Finn Balor, and God, you guys are gonna hate me for this one, but I might as well say it. I did not like Finn Balor. I was like, this guy is the most smiling cookie cutter babyface guy I've ever seen. I do not like this guy at all. So when the Fiend came out and destroyed him, I was like, hell yeah. Years later, I kind of I love Bray, but I kind of wish Finn would have never been put in that position to begin with.
I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide. U.S. title match time.
Let's go.
Solo versus Jacob in a steel cage. You knew this match had to be a banger waiting to happen.
Banger after banger.
Jacob Fatu comes out in a scary ass mask. I don't know what it was, but it scared me. We raise the U.S. title, do a stare down, and then the carnage begins. I definitely will say I got my appetite and need for bodies being thrown and smashed into the steel cage with this match. That's my favorite part of cage matches, and this one had an adequate amount, if not more than adequate.
For sure. I think Solo was very good for that, too. He's very throwable.
We get a lot of that. And then we see Jacob Fatu throw 2 moonsaults down on Solo and go for the pin. Solo kicks out. It's kind of a moment.
That was kind of crazy. I was like, wait a minute. We doing this? Solo getting that superhuman in him?
Then the Beta Bloodline try and come out. Jimmy Uso tries to come and save the day. Doesn't go well in any way. Jacob gets the chance to leave the cage, and he tells the ref, no way, all gas, no brakes, lock that cage up.
In Josh's words, he said a few other words you can't say on. But yeah, I love that spot too. Jacob has such a way with words.
All gas, no brakes. We get the Beta Bloodline climbing up into the cage to interfere, and Hikuleo handcuffs Fatu to the top of the cage. But of course, handcuffs can't hold the Samoan werewolf. He breaks out. despite even that, the numbers game catches up with him. Solo Sikoa falls out of the cage to win and retain the U.S. title.
There were
Damn.
two things that surprised me here. One, the fact that Solo won this, which we can circle back to in a second. Two, the fact that Hikuleo actually climbed that cage. I don't know why, but he's.
What is his WWE name?
I just thought we weren't going to use it. I thought we were just because it's so ridiculous.
I know I'm still not, but I am curious because I get it mixed up with all the Tamatonga Tatua Tamungas.
So there's Tamatanga, yeah.
Stop.
There's Tongaloa, Botch Machine,
Really?
and then there's Tala Tonga.
It's Tala Tonga. I thought it was like Tonga Tala. I had it backwards in my head, so I'm glad I just stuck with Hikuleo, who is a much more respectable wrestler.
Just remember, he's Tala Tonga because he's Tala.
Hey, just remember, it's JC Mateo because he's just chilling.
Yeah, I forgot he was around. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, he could never face Jeff Cobb in the ring. But after the match, JC Mateo and Tongaloa find themselves locked inside the cage with Fatu. And this culminates to Jacob Fatu beating them up and then giving them a moonsault from atop the cage. We had to have one of those, right, at SummerSlam.
Yeah, the big moment again. How do you feel about Solo retaining?
It's something that I didn't predict, but I didn't see it happening. I didn't necessarily love it, but I'm like, you know what? Jacob Fatu is going to be the world heavyweight champion one day. So however we're going to navigate towards that, let's just get the ball rolling. I'm always thinking bigger picture.
That's what I was kind of thinking too. I was like, I know he's going to be world champion, at least in the hunt, if not for sure champion. But I wasn't sure if that now was the time where you start doing that.
At least get the ball rolling in some sense. Like, okay, he's not going to win it in the next 4 months, but hey, 8 months from now, let's get him to where he's got to be then.
I mean, Rumble.
Yeah, but I know it. I mean, maybe this is premature, but I really just feel like Braun Breaker's got a shot, man.
Maybe.
Especially now that we know Seth Rollins is the world heavyweight champion. So if this group breaks down, Braun Breaker is going to be the first one to take that title off of Rollins. He's going to full on Batista this situation.
That's fair.
Okay. Summerslamboree highlight number 8. We're on our 8th and final one here. 2020 SummerSlam, we saw The Fiend defeat Braun Strowman to retain the Universal title. And following the match after a 5-month hiatus, we see the return of Roman Reigns, who came, wrecked everyone, turned heel, left. The beginning of the Tribal Chief.
Yeah, I wanted to include this one because it was. I forgot that it happened at SummerSlam, but I did remember it happening. I mean, how could you not? This was literally trajectory changing, not just for Roman Reigns, but for the business, for at least for WWE.
Huge shift, huge change for Roman Reigns and his character.
Yes.
He'll never be the big dog again.
Oh no.
Now, I kept this baby on because we still got one more IC title match. It's the men's Intercontinental title match, and this match has a shit ton of promise to deliver, if you ask me. I know these wrestlers, so I know.
Okay.
Dom pulls up wearing a prototype of the gear his dad wore in that aforementioned SummerSlam 2005 ladder match, but AJ Styles pulls up in a whole-ass lowrider and Eddie Guerrero-themed gear. That was like, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't catch the fact that Dom had that prototype gear. That's very interesting that he would choose to channel Ray while AJ would channel Eddie. That's okay, interesting.
Yeah, match is solid as hell from the start, and it almost feels like watching this match, and if you don't feel it, watch it back, you'll feel it now for sure. With all the technical spots, the entertaining Eddie Guerrero cheating callbacks, it was almost like this was a sort of in a way, love letter match to Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, for sure. I was 100% like, oh yeah, they're just trying to pay homage here. That's what they're doing.
They definitely did that, and Dom doing the Eddie loose boot spot, hits a frog splash, pins AJ Styles to retain the IC title. But that's one of my favorite WrestleMania moments of all time: the Eddie Guerrero loosening the boot to pin Kurt Angle.
I remember that. It's so good. I was a little. I wouldn't say I'm surprised. But I was really kind of hoping AJ would win this because I just.
Yeah, I thought so.
This is his last SummerSlam, at least. The specific quote: "This is my last SummerSlam in
Man,
WWE."
crazy to think about. But that's something that a lot of people thought, myself included, and I did have in the notes. I thought that Dominic Mysterio for sure was dropping the belt to Styles tonight on his way to winning the AAA Mega Championship.
Yeah, like I wasn't, but and honestly, I was kind of thinking, you know what? I'll save that for later. We have one more match.
Okay. Yeah, we do. Before we get onto that, though, and sticking with this AAA thing briefly, now that Dominic has retained here at SummerSlam, I think Vikingo is holding on to the title for now. Unless they really want Americano to win it, in which case that would be terrible. I don't think that that's the case, and if it is, I'm going home.
I think I saw reports of them wanting him to be like a serious character in AAA specifically.
No,
It's kind of a weird disconnect if you're gonna have him be like serious in AAA, but this weird like everyone's Americano, like the whole.
that would.
Sorry, I have to bring this up.
No, you good?
The I'm Americano. No, I'm Americano. Are there any other Americanos that I need to know about? If you know the reference, I love you.
It's just it furthers the narrative. If that is the case, that would further the narrative that they absolutely treat Lucha Libre Mexican wrestling as a joke. And I don't think that that's the narrative, but it certainly doesn't help that case not get proven if they do something like that.
It's definitely interesting. It's also interesting the fact that it's not. They want the Americano character to live, but they don't. I guess they don't care who is actually portraying it now,
Yeah.
which is even weirder. Because then you have the prospect of a Briton or I can't remember. Is Ludwig Kaiser German
Yeah, in German.
or a German to portray it? It's a little. It's ridiculous enough to where I'm not as angry as I was with the whole Gulf of America thing. Still infuriating, but
Yeah.
they don't lean on that as much now with the story the way it's gone. I don't know. It's a really weird one to talk about now.
There's so much weirdness to it, so we'll just get to a WWE title match instead, since that's what we're here for.
Big fight feel.
That's literally what the first note says. Big fight feel.
Yes.
Not the first or last time we run back a WrestleMania main event in the main event of SummerSlam, but in a street fight with John Cena and Cody Rhodes, I feel it, man. I feel it.
Good stuff, man. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of excited and intrigued with the whole Cena face turn.
I didn't believe it. I was nice, but I didn't believe it for a second. I was like, he's lying through his teeth. We'll have to see at SummerSlam. Cody, though, he comes out to a cool tribute entrance to Dusty Rhodes of sorts. It was really cool.
Okay, I have to bring this up because my brother brought it up. Were
Bring it.
these actual things Dusty said, or was this AI?
Neither. Well, something Dusty said that was started by him and then finished by Cody Rhodes. If you notice the last part of the quote, it's Cody Rhodes talking. So it starts off as a quote from Dusty Rhodes, and then it's Cody Rhodes adding on to it.
Oh, okay, good. Because I was like, oh, now they're just using AI whenever they want to, which they've already proven. Def Rebel uses AI.
Yeah, they've used AI for so much in the past year and have been seen doing so. I don't think they're trying to hide that, but that's a whole other thing. John Cena comes out doing his full babyface entrance, and then we get a super big fight feel intro and standoff.
Honestly, a really sick start. Yeah, continue.
The two-man hug, exchange words of love, then start fighting aggressively. I mean, it is a street fight.
I mean, you gotta throw them hands.
And they do start street fighting with weapons and stuff. One of the early weapons we see, the bottom of the stairs. Cena threw them at Cody's head like something out of the 2K video game.
I didn't even think about it that way, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the only other time I see that spot. He said, I'm going straight into the game. That's what the kids are doing these days. We get a combo of street fighting shit and actual good wrestling shit. We get to a spot where Cody Rhodes pile drives John Cena and everybody makes a huge deal out of it because that's banned here.
You can't do that. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I love the unorthodox chants like that.
We get more solid wrestling, more street fighting. Cody gets hit in the head with a microphone and then FU'd through the Spanish announce desk. And I was surprised because I honestly thought the table wasn't going anywhere. Thought it wasn't breaking today.
That would have been. I don't know if it'd been better.
Yeah, that would have been a lot more painful to watch.
Yeah.
We go and do some more wrestling stuff and they hit each other with more of their finishers. Then Cena smirks and gets a Jim table. Tried to FU Cody through that too, but Cody says, nah. Takes the fight to Cena and takes that fight out into the crowd, and the fight gets pretty brutal out there.
Does it really?
It does. I saw a man get suplexed onto a barricade. That never feels good.
Yeah. I guess I forgot. My mind's forgetting small things now. It's
But
going.
then they take that fight from out there to under the stage? Like, what?
That spot was crazy, but as soon as they went under, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're gonna come up Cody's little elevator thing."
I didn't know what the hell was going on. But yeah, it came back up the elevator on the stage. The same one Cody used for his entrance, probably the same one Rey Mysterio used for his cooler entrance. But see John Cena, fireman, carry position, just carrying him up like,
I was
smart.
not expecting John Cena to come out with him on top. I thought Cody was gonna come up with him, I guess, in the crossroad or something.
I really thought this was like the John Cena, like, no, I'm for sure still a heel bad guy moment. Like, I'm going to come up, completely changed persona. I thought that's where it was going. He gives an FU to Cody onto the stage and then carries him back in that fireman carry position all the way to the ring. Where Cody turns the match back around in his favor, gets a table spot, crossroads in, and a near fall. And now we know we're in for business.
Yep, we're barely starting. I don't know what you're talking about.
Cody unscrews a bottom turnbuckle and uses it to hit Cena a couple times, but then Cena revives himself and puts Cody in the STFU, using the rope to choke Cody. Not enough to take Codes out, no sir. Cody does the super crossroads, and then Cena kicks out, and even I screamed and peed myself a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, even like my family was like, "Nah, it took Roman 3 of those to go down. That should be it." And then, nope.
No. Crowd chants Super Cena. Cody goes and grabs the WWE title. Cena evades the title belt shot, hits Cody with all the FUs and the Avalanche FU, and Cody kicks out, and we popped even louder at that point, all collectively.
I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute. We're still going?"
John Cena goes and grabs another gym table. He sets it up in the ring, sets Cody back up on the top rope, attempts to do another Avalanche FU, but instead we see a Cody cutter through the table.
What a spot,
Not
man.
on through the table, through the actual table.
Yep.
Cody, I love this. Cody salutes John Cena and then hits one final crossroads before pinning Cena to gain back the WWE title.
Honestly, what a moment. And then the fact that they were able to both have a full match, no interference, just two baby faces going at it, and John Cena putting Cody over as like the next face, even though people were convinced Cody was going to turn heel here.
I thought so. I thought it was possible because Cody literally had just said in an interview, I never want to turn heel. And I took that as, okay, so he's definitely turning heel, right? That's a thing. And we see subtle instances where he might. Same thing with the John Cena. Like, can we trust him now? Or is this... There's so many spots. I think having that mystery a little bit kept that match as good as it was. But here's the factor I said I wasn't going to talk about that I find myself having to talk about anyway. And I got mixed emotions when I bring this up because it comes back to that SmackDown episode when John Cena was like, I'm going to make this promo and we're going to, toast our real American beers. Like, we look at the parallels between Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and I notice a striking similarity between all those baby faces being mega over. There's just like the Americana white guy in every scenario.
Yeah.
With Hulk Hogan's passing, it felt like everything with John Cena turning back to a babyface and this match being what it was felt like something they were doing to tie into that in a certain way. It felt like a Hulk Hogan-esque type of moment, and that's taking Hulk Hogan obviously as a character and not Terry as the person. Okay, maybe there's something to this.
I didn't think about it like that. I thought about it in a different way.
Mm.
I think there's a reason they did this. It's to set up something else in the future, which I will not mention because I will not mention the man's name on this show. So
That's fair. I like that. After the match, Cena takes Cody's title just to give it back to him and say thoughtful words to him and make him cry. Cody
yeah,
pays his respects to Cena and then walks up the ramp to give Cena the ring on his last SummerSlam. Crowd chants, "Thank you, Cena." Then that person that you choose not to name that I'm just going to have to mention for the sake of, journalism, Brock Lesnar's music hits, and now I'm sad that we're ending such a great night with WWE essentially shooting themselves in the foot for good.
since we've already done it, I thought we were going to avoid mentioning his name because
Yeah.
I don't want to give. I've already said it on Twitter. I don't want to give them the media hits because this is one of the reasons I think they did it, and it's to get publicity, to get people talking, the one-time engagement, and I don't want to feed into that. But since we're already mentioning it, yeah, Brock Lesnar is back. It's stupid. It's terrible, in my opinion. Like, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but
Yeah.
as someone who struggles to talk about WWE outside of his household, this does not make it any easier.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, my head's in that same space as far as like we're unbiased, and I love being the platform that's completely neutral to the point where like we can bring it up, and that's why I said like I'm only bringing the name up because I don't want to. I'm doing it for the sake of why do we have to talk about it? It just happened, and it shouldn't have happened, but it did, and it changes a lot of things. Now, for us, I can't say right now what that is, but for, like you just said, it changes a lot as a fan because now this creates a huge divide because what are we going to justify? I looked at the paperwork, regardless of how pending the case still is. I looked at the paperwork and his name is on the paperwork and he is directly affiliated with the Janelle Grant case. And it's something that WWE obviously has had a bad train now of like, okay, we're doing this. Now we're at the White House. Now we're doing this. There's a lot of bad things that have happened. And this essentially is like a nail in the coffin. Like they have committed now. We are on this side.
That's why that's why I said what I said at the beginning. I don't know how much longer I want to cover WWE. I don't even know how much longer I want to watch WWE.
Yeah.
I watch because there are people in this company that I support. The Ilya Dragunovs, the Lyra Valkyrias, and I don't know who they are as a person. For all I know, they could be approving of this too. But there are people that I'm not sure what their stance is that I enjoy watching and I want to support.
Yeah.
I do not support Brock Lesnar. I do not support the guy in AAA. I do not support anyone that had anything to do with Stephanie Vaquer and what went wrong with her. I do not support Vince McMahon. I do not support any of these people that have done all these terrible, egregious things. I just want to talk wrestling.
Yeah.
I just want to talk fun storyline, fun matches. I'm so tired of this divide.
It's crazy. It's just crazy to think about when we started this. The whole reason then the the basis of what we started Wrestling in the Middle on was like, okay, WWE and AEW fans can't get along. We need to have a platform where they can. And this shit escalated so far to where it stopped being about that and it started being about like moral compasses, what is right and wrong. And goodness, it's I can't wrap my head around the fact that like it's not just about like what product is better, it's about like as a person, what do you support and believe in? And there's wrestlers in that company, like you just said, that like they probably don't agree with this, they probably don't support this, but they are contractually obligated to work here. They can't do anything else. So what does we as fans do?
What people need to understand is that at the end of the day, these are companies, these are businesses, these are businessmen, businesswomen. Even though they're performers, they are still contracted. They still
Yeah.
need to make money. And it is not easy to go and be like, oh, I've been performing for 13 years or 7 years of my life. I am now going to go work a desk job. Or I'm now going to go get a doctorate in whatever. I'm going to go get an associate's in whatever. It's not easy.
No. Imagine Braun Breaker working at a bank. Heavy Braun Banker, bro.
And I know, like, people say, like, okay, if it's not easy, just do it anyways. If you were in the same situation, would you not complain? Would you not want sympathy? It's just human nature.
I'd want to feel heard. Honestly, I'd want to feel heard. But I'd also, if they're in a position a lot of times where they can't say the things they want to say either.
DMCA's, all times like that, no disclosures,
Yeah.
non-disclosures. So, like, I will wish people would. Hopefully, this makes it into the episode. Please be considerate of these people. I know there are people that have done really wrong things, and they deserve all of. If you're negative towards them, for sure, but also be considerate that there are people back there, not just the performers. There's the ring crew. There's cameramen, light people, sound people, people who work in those offices.
The fact that you have to like specify, like, I hope this makes it in the episode. This is probably one of the most important things we've touched on. And yes, this is more comedy than seriousness most of the times, but 100% we keep it real, and that's as real as it gets. And I'm somebody who's, like I said, recently had the opportunity to just work with independent promotions and get to work backstage with some of the indies and get to understand how this business works. And like you just said, man, there's so many pieces to the machine that keep it moving that we don't think about, that are just people and they don't even want to be here half the time, but they're feeding their families, man. So
Exactly. That's my takeaway. I want other than
it's a
you guys want to
business.
talk.
It's not just a business either that we're talking about. These are corporate business. This is like the top. We're this. I said it months ago. This isn't WWE anymore. What we're talking about. This is TKO. We're
Yeah,
just having to call it WWE. Man. All right.
insane.
Final pay per view thoughts. We haven't even gotten to the final pay per view thoughts.
Dylan, you son of a bitch.
I said, well, this is certainly one that takes a lot of thought and processing to put behind it. I would say in certain areas it was amazing. Other areas it was a drag. There's things I saw coming that not a lot of others did. There's things that I was dead wrong on all the way. If you asked me Saturday how I felt, I would have told you only the main event did it for me. If you asked Sunday by itself how I felt about that, I would say it was one of the most amazing pay-per-views I've seen from WWE in a while. Altogether, it was a big one for the books and I loved it. A lot of big moments and big trajectory things happened, but this was all before Lesnar came out and killed the vibe. Pre-Lesnar, I would give it a 4-star rating, a whole 4-star rating, and it worked its ass off that Sunday to give it that rating. But post-Lesnar, it's a -5 for me. They could kiss my ass from that point.
But this bitch is getting on my nerves.
I'm gonna make this short and sweet. The women killed it. I love how the trajectory of the women are going. I'm interested to see where Carrion goes from here. I give it a 4 point. I'll give it a 4. As far as like WWE, strictly WWE standards. And I'm gonna pretend I'm going to.
So,
I'm going to subtract Lesnar from the score but I will not ignore his existence. And as I said, if we do not have to, I will not mention his name. I will not mention his name on Twitter. I will not mention his name on social media. And I hope he is gone as fast as he came. And I hope WWE makes an effort. I hope they see the backlash and at least, because the fact is they also canceled their press conferences for a while for the foreseeable future. So they knew what they were doing. So I can't even say I hope, because I guarantee they're not going to change. This is probably not going to change. So, and I'm going to take that back a little bit. I will watch certain things from the people I enjoy, but for the most part, I'm going to be pretty detached for a little bit until I decide, like, how far I want my dedication to this company to go.
No, you just made the list!
That's all the way fair. I think it puts a good pin in allowing this to be what it is and just us talking about the pay-per-view and what happened, because from this point forward, no, we don't have to bring him up anymore, and probably will not until this court case is finalized and we know everything and people are put in the light that they're supposed to be in. Maybe that day, but even then, it's not any of my business right now. Like I said, it killed the vibe of SummerSlam, but I think I just turned it into an off-script Summerslamboree highlight. This is not one I wrote down, but Summerslamboree highlight number 9. And this is 2025 SummerSlam, when WWE threw on a pretty dope pay-per-view for once and then shot themselves in the foot at the end of it. That's the last SummerSlamboree moment.
Honestly, I think what we need to do is...
Yeah.
Hold on. This is how we end this.
Yeah, bro.
Give me a hell yeah!
Whoa.
There we
Whoa.
go.
Hold on. I gotta turn my lights back to green. Although this light shows off my cool Terry Funk Cactus Jack shirt, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Back to SummerSlam green. SummerSlam green. Yeah, SummerSlam green. SummerSlam green. Okay, SummerSlam green.
The total whiplash will get you. I hope you guys are doing this though. I'm out.